I feel like before even opening up with your reading, I've already been taken through an entire soul's odyssey. Like, I've been taken through an entire journey. I'm seeing a journey in the making. So there is a lot more to unfold on your path. Let me share with you something. Today's message is all about Polaris. I'm going to be sharing with you the North Star and your true north. Yet, you may have felt like you have lost your true north in many ways, and you're being guided back to it. This is why. I was looking for the North Star because it showed up in the astral realm last night. I was basically seeing Polaris in the sky, and I was speaking to one of you beautiful souls, and we were talking about how you were being guided by this celestial, intangible force as you navigated the physical realm, and you were being filled by something higher that was serving your evolution. The compass was invented before the clock because the direction mattered more than the time that it would take for you to reach that destination. So as long as you stay aligned with the trajectory, I'm seeing staying aligned with your soul's intentions and your cosmic celestial origin intentions, I'm hearing your pre-incarnation intentions, then the outcome becomes inevitable, even if that is the soul's odyssey across lifetimes. There's something symbolic around this where the soul is not in a rush and you're right on time. You're exactly where you need to be. I'm seeing a coordinate within space-time where everything is unfolding magically. Okay, so I was looking for the star card, right? I actually took out because I wanted to show you the illustration. And in my Cosmos Visions deck, it talks about there's the veil that is becoming thinner. So you're accessing more information that's existing within higher bandwidths of frequency light. This was a key point. In the astral realm, I was seeing this intangible force, this higher intelligence that was infusing your vessel, infusing your physical avatar with something that would serve your evolution. What that is could be a divinely inspired idea. It may be a sense of purpose, some kind of sense of direction, but your soul is literally filling this magnetic pull towards achieving some type of higher objective. That's the message that's coming through. That's how you're going to know this is for you opening up. I'm going to share with you what I saw. All right, I'm seeing you lost your North Star just to experience the desire of being able to remember it once again or to recover it. So to give you a little bit of background on Polaris, if you're not familiar, she's one of the most important stars within human history. She's placed amongst the North Celestial Pole in the sky, which means that as the Earth rotates, Polaris seems to be kind of untouched. She seems to be motionless within the night sky as the other stars begin to navigate around her. So she becomes this point of reorientation. So for many generations, she was used by sailors and mystics and travelers. And I'm just seeing many souls as a point of direction. She would bring them a sense of direction as they navigated the physical realm. That's what you're doing. That's what I'm hearing. That's the higher intelligence within you that you're coming back into alignment with. And that is also a magnetic force that you're going to recognize other souls gravitate towards you for. Before we continue with Polaris, I want to share with you the star card messages that came through because, again, I literally pulled this up for an illustration so that I could show you the star, the veil, but it's missing. It's the true North Star. Let me share with you quickly. So the star in this deck is called the Veil. It talks about opportunity, hope, and inspiration, and reassurance. The star bursts through the veil and offers a moment of reassurance. This is what I see. I'm seeing it as the non-physical essence within you. It's a frequency that is able to come up and express itself. I'm seeing consciousness collapse itself into form through your expression. There is something that bleeds through you as a conduit, and it's extremely healing. It's extremely rejuvenating. It also talks about the star bursts through the veil to offer a moment of reassurance. This is a card of hope. This is something that you're able to provide. Be inspired, feel the good that surrounds you, feed this light inside of you, and it will continue to repel the darkness. You might not know it, but you're an inspiration to many. If this card shows up, take it as an opportunity to celebrate your achievements, big or small. One of the biggest achievements that you have reached so far in your, let's just say, soul's odyssey across lifetimes, is the ability to remember oneself again and come back to oneself. Let me read to you the other star card because there's quite a few that were coming up. This is the star card in my Cosmos Oracle message. It talks about a celestial body which shines with its own light. The word star has been used for a long time to refer to someone who is lucky. It's a magical wild card that stands out against everything and everyone. The star becomes a guide for all those who accompany it, and it shines with a unique pulse and surrounds the vast night with enveloping light, leadership and brilliance, spirituality and faith. The active portal is 333, which is about your potential. The sons of stars with stardust in our veins, the whole sky lays deep inside of our reins. It's in our DNA, shining more than any glitter. The lucky star living within you, full of wisdom and witter. This could be wisdom that you impart, it could be wisdom that you share. And again, because astronomically, Polaris is actually a multi-starred system, and I'm just seeing it as something to do with the constellation, something to do with just going with the flow, going with a sense of direction, and being pleasantly surprised about where it leads you. And I'm hearing how you also inspire others by following your own true north. And not everyone is going to understand it. Before I get into this, let me share with you two other messages that were coming through. The two other messages were in my Starseed Oracle deck. And these are two symbolic references for the true north. The first one is you're not for everyone. It talks about embracing your weirdness, face your true north. This is what you're going to experience on your path, right, as you explore. The second one is you're already doing it. So stop overthinking it. Keep facing your true north. Now, the interesting thing about Polaris is that most stars, they seem to kind of rise and set. But if you can find Polaris in your chart or within you, then she becomes your true north. There is an eternal presence, there is an eternal light that has forever been guiding your path as you transverse the physical material plane. And it's so interesting, at least I find this super fascinating, and I feel like you will, is that for thousands of years before we had GPSs, we utilized compasses. You may want to watch two readings that I did. I'm going to link it down below, and I see them being highly activated right now. The first one was all to do with the soul's compass. I believe it was a golden age reading, and I spoke about cryptochrome and a bunch of other things where birds are able to use their electromagnetic abilities to tune into I'm hearing the trajectories that they're supposed to embark on within this lifetime, where their soul's naturally being called to migrate towards. I'm going to pull up some messages around those readings afterwards because there could be some symbolic references that you need to hear. And the second one was the star card as an embodiment, the star card as a person, an octave within you, and what happens when people see you as this essence, because she has this extremely healing and restorative aura simply because she's seated within this level of awareness that she can sustain within her being, and it literally emanates from within, so without. So that's something that I see happening. Anyway, Polaris's main message is that she became this fixed point in the sky. She had cultivated this very strong, I'm hearing the word abrupt connection with herself. So it could feel like something abrupt had to happen in order for you to collapse back inwards and discover that the light was within you all along. You had to go through seasons of darkness because on the darkest nights, that's when the star actually discovers its own light, that it can become its own light source. So she became a point where other souls and beings that walked amongst this planet would begin to look at her and reorientate themselves around her. I'm seeing it as coming back into coherence while being in your field, remembering the hidden architecture or more subtle realms that we're all interconnected with and we're inseparable from while being immersed inside of the dream of physical reality. So there's something around awakening and being that guiding life force. It's something instilled within you. And the main message that I saw was our true north and the compass essentially asks us all as we move through the system to trust where alignment is leading us, even if it doesn't feel familiar, because it's definitely going to lead you somewhere that you haven't been before. I'm seeing it as you kind of crossing the threshold into an entire new counterpart Earth, where you really are being guided by the more subtle influences. I'm hearing forces that are influencing this realm. Let me share with you some of the downloads that I got last night because I was meditating on this. So as Polaris seems to be fixed in the sky, what we notice is that everything else begins to move around her. And I'm seeing it as this internal still sanctuary within you that you're able to return to, where you can admire the cosmos hidden within what appears to be chaotic, understanding innately that there is a secret order to what appears to be disorderly, not just within your life, but within the lives of those around you. There is this, I'm hearing, self-organized system when it comes to the unveiled, how much can be unveiled all at once. Because the path of adventure and mystery are inseparable. And there's something around the greatest adventure is within the exploration itself. And I'm seeing it as you being this deep sea explorer, discovering untapped potential and bringing that back to the surface. I'm seeing it as kind of resurrecting it. There's something with the star that you could be illuminating that's been hidden in the shadow. And so stars represent divine guidance. They represent not, again, spiritual reorientation or destiny or following the soul's compass or the still point within you, even when everything around you in the world appears to be moving. Ancient cultures often associated Polaris as being the world tree. So she was this connecting point from heaven onto earth. She became the bridge from the higher realms into the lower realms. And she was able to work both simultaneously because she didn't see herself as being separate from her human identity and her formless eternal identity. She was able to utilize this conduit, this avatar, and sustain this connection to the other side as she navigated the physical realm. And I'm seeing this as something that you've been able to do, something that you've been able to come back to. And so the biggest teaching is that when everything appears to be moving around you, there is this sacred stillness that knows the way. And there's something that you're being called to, even if it feels like you've lost your way within the distractions of the external world, within the obligations or responsibilities of the material plane that are calling for your attention. There is this deep knowing that you have to be present within everything that you're doing. I'm hearing you're no longer acting with the absence of presence. Can we deep that for a moment? If you really get it, you get it. You're not acting without being present within the action itself. If you're doing something, all of you is present and doing it. If the sun is shining upon your skin, then you feel his warming embrace. If you're standing under the moonlight, then you allow her cooling essence to encase your entire being. If the wind is blowing on your back, then you feel this element dance around you. You know, it's being able to bridge the gap between your divine self and your human self and lean into the totality of spirit navigating the human form. I feel the biggest question coming through for you right now is, what is your North Star? Because we've lost the North Star. I don't know where the North Star is. I literally had it out on the table. I go out and do a few things. Where is the North Star? I don't know. And so the North Star isn't about where you want to end up to. It's not about what it is that you're going to present, what it is that you're going to show, right? It's not anything that can be, I feel like, explained. It's something that transcends the physical realm. It feels like the North Star has just dissolved into this etheric essence. And so in many ways, you know, your North Star becomes your principle. It becomes your truth. It becomes something that is invisible in many ways. It is like your values. It's something that helps you orientate yourself around this inner knowing, while the external physical realm or this external physical events appear to be uncertain. You're not sure about where the star is. You're not sure about where it is that you're going to end up or how this thing is going to evolve in the physical realm. Yet there is this reorientation that happens. I'm seeing a recalibration within your field that the world around you responds to. And it's this invisible force. It's something that can't be shown. It's something that can't really be explained. It can only be experienced through this very embodiment. And this is the most important thing to reconnect with within ourselves, because the North Star, it can't be a job, okay? It cannot be this identity. It cannot be a destination, and it can't be a timeline unfolding a very particular way, because those are all subject to change. Those are all subject to evolving beyond what it is that we may even be currently experiencing. They're designed to do that. And so the North Star is something that remains constant, even when those things change, even when our timeline, I'm seeing, abruptly changes, when our job abruptly changes, when our plans that we made abruptly are forced to change. I'm kind of seeing like a tower and a tower. That makes so much sense, because the tower, and I'll go ahead and read it actually in this deck. If you know tarot, the tower moment comes before the star card. And what the tower does is collapse, and that destabilization becomes the very catalyst for this transformation to occur. And I'm seeing it's within the collapse of its own compromised foundation. It's something that doesn't align with your initial objectives, with the soul's higher intentions. And so it was never built on a foundation that would, I'm hearing, assist the many generations. It was never built on the foundation of something rooted and resonant with every single fiber of your being. It wasn't going to support your highest possible expression within this lifetime. And so this is where things had to change. There had to be a collapse to reveal the star that was there all along. This is what I'm seeing happen. So you could feel like you've gone through a tower moment, and that could have been the abrupt energy. I'll go ahead and read the tower in this card to you. This is so interesting. I wasn't even thinking that, but that makes so much sense. So the tower talks about a catastrophe, an accident, a swift change, or a turbulence that happens. In this deck, it's also associated with the shore. So it's the merging between two worlds. In time, the crashing waves on the shore are sure to erode the cliff's edge and send the fragile tower toppling into the ocean below. While you might not be able to change exterior influences, you can change how you react to drastic upheaval. Be ready for a swift change at any moment. This is it. It's like there is this swift change where the universe isn't pulling anything away from you. And that could be a career, it could be a relationship, it could be a specific goal that isn't your North Star. It was never your North Star, but instead it's pulling you inwards to discover this truth. And that North Star becomes this point of introspection that ultimately brings you back to what it is you've always been, which is free. It allows you to experience that liberation. It could be deeper service. It could be coming back into alignment with that love being the state of awareness. It's this remembrance. It's this divine union that is occurring within the intersection of spirit meeting matter. It's for you to reconnect with your own soul's essence once again. And this is something that I see happening. That's actually how the North Star functions, because it continues to guide your direction even when the external events begin to evolve around you. And it's something that is, I'm kind of seeing it as evolving out of your field as you ascend into a higher octave. The quality of your life experiences are going to reflect that internal shift. Polaris is literally the North Star because she becomes the stillness that allows the soul to guide you through the material plane. That's what I'm seeing happen, okay? And that is the Tower card energy. So it's a reorientation that's occurring. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at another message around this. It could be a quiet and a knowing. And also another thing that was coming up for Polaris, I wasn't surprised that this celestial light body revealed itself in the astral realm, because there were a few Soul's Odysseys that I've been working on in the background. And Polaris was really symbolic within your guys' charts. It could be something that you want to look up. When Polaris is conjunct a very specific celestial placement in our chart, depending on where it is, where it's aspected, it actually becomes this fusion of two essences that come into, I'm hearing that become one. I'm kind of seeing it as the assemblage point in many ways. And it's this quiet and a knowing. It's this sense of destiny without feeling like this urgency, because the soul feels urgency when it comes to, well, what time are we going to get there? The soul, I'm hearing, is not subject to space and time. It may be moving through time, but time is also moving through and experiencing and expressing itself through it. There is only ever the eternal now that you're moving through. So I'm hearing, what is the rush? If you felt like there's a rush to find the North Star within something. It's so interesting. I'm seeing it as this light that continues to transform itself. It may be experiencing temporal moments. It may be experiencing itself and expressing itself through temporal avatars. Yet, that true north has been within you all along, through the generations. I'm hearing experiencing yourself as the sailor, and then also that point of orientation within the sky. Seeing how you are the higher intelligence that is guiding. Is a guiding force as you move through the physical realm. So it's a deeper direction. Some of you could be being called to become a guide for others as well. That could also be how this is going to play out. But it's essentially a moment where your soul is telling you to be still, because the direction already exists. Okay? So I'm going to also share a couple downloads and notes, and then I'm going to do a quick reading around this. So some things that I found really interesting is, if Polaris is strongly connected to your natal chart, this could be something that you want to check, like your moon, your sun, your nodes, your Mercury, whatever. Then we can interpret it as, it could be natural guidance abilities that you hold or harbor. I'm seeing like the harboring. You could also become a teacher or a way shower. Again, this is really going to depend uniquely on how it's aspecting you. You could be helping others find their paths, or holding steady during periods of collective uncertainty. You become that anchor. Okay, I'm seeing you become that anchor that other sailors come into the harbor for. Right? Is the harbor like the bank before you set sail, but it's also where you return to after your travels, and you act as an anchor point. That could be within communities, it could be within your ancestral lineage, right? Depending on where it's aspected. It could be your avatar, your essence that ends up becoming that anchor. It could be within partnerships. And so many people that have very strong Polaris aspects end up becoming our teachers, they become our guides, our spiritual leaders or counselors, or like storytellers. But it's because they've learned how to lead themselves through this existence. They've learned how to trust their own internal light. And so that illuminates the path for others and mirrors back where that light also exists within them. I kind of see it as the ego, or most humans spend almost their entire lives trying to control or cling to the external things. But Polaris teaches us the opposite of it. It teaches us to release the need to attach to time or these temporal things that will always, I'm hearing, will be forced to release from our grip, and instead begin to find your own center and come back to your own still point. This is what it is. and then allow these things to begin to orbit you. Okay, so there could be things within your orbit as well. It kind of reminds me of a message that came through the other day as well, where I was speaking about the soul is always seeking evolution. It's always seeking change. It's always seeking growth. And so it's seeking to outgrow. I'm hearing its previous gravitational field and what would orbit it. What orbits it is a reflection of its own gravitational force. Does this make sense? And it feels like there is a different physical law in which you're operating under at this point in your life, or that you're being called to return back to you. And that could be the weight of your belief systems. It reminds me of gravity not being a force that holds you down, but gravity actually ends up becoming your belief systems that weigh you down in this existence. And sometimes we're pulled towards things that feel unfamiliar. Yet we need to stop associating things that are unfamiliar with things that are unaligned, because it often is our intuition that guides us towards the unfamiliar things. And those are the things that are aligned. I'm seeing it as a Two of Wands energy, where this person is sitting at this crossroads. There are two different paths in front of them. It's a fork in the road. One path is familiar, leaves them feeling unfulfilled. The other path is very unfamiliar, yet it holds all the wish fulfillment that they could ever desire. And so it represents where someone is planning and preparing in order to be able to progress on a certain path. All right, let's see. We have the Holy Grail. You are what you seek, an inner discovery and finding sacredness. This makes so much sense because it's a representation of the divine feminine. Then you have Akashic Stargate, no wrong path, crossroads at the base. I'm hearing there are many ways back to yourself. Some of us, it requires that abrupt. You know, the Tower card can be a rude awakening. Sometimes it can be a rude awakening. For others, it can represent where we're kind of being called, where we can feel the ground shaking beneath our feet. And we know that something has to change. Like, we know it. And so it's where we're invited to become our own agent of change. The Holy Grail has been a mystery for thousands of years, and this cup was something that Jesus drank from the Last Supper. It was used to collect his blood at the crucifixion. While others believed it was a person, possibly Mary Magdalene, it's also been described as a stone, a dish, a cauldron. The energy of this card is strongly related to the physical space within Southwest England. Anyway, long story short, it talks about you've been on a great quest, searching and seeking, discovering. But the farther you've gone, okay, I'm hearing it, the farther that you ventured into the physical exploration and everything that this realm has in store for us, the more your heart has called you back, which is don't lose yourself inside of the dream of physical reality. Don't fixate your true north on temporal moments. You may still be looking for a treasure, but you're now discovering that all roads lead back to you. All external networks lead you back towards your own internal map, allowing you to rediscover your cosmic origins. And as you do that, you can navigate this realm, recognizing that everything is in perfect design and it always has been. And it's allowing you to tune back into the essence of play and being present with the action that you take. Alignment isn't somewhere that you go or somewhere that you reach in the external realms. Alignment is somewhere that you return to. And it just feels like, you know, I love, you know, if you're in this time dilation bubble right now, I love this for you. It feels like a, you know, a welcome home. So that's what I want to say, welcome home. Anyway, you are the answer. The great source of creation holds a shiny mirror in front of you. You are the divine. You're created and creating. Again, you're an extension of infinite potential, creating inside of your own creation. This is the difference between unconscious repetition and actually co-creating with the physical material plane. The gateway of your divinity has opened, and the vessel of your being is flowing with infinite light. You've been searching for God and God is within, so go with them. This is the key to heaven. Your cup is overflowing. Your gifts are being unlocked. Let the world share your treasure. Damn. This is... Ooh. Okay. So if you made it to this point, comment down below the star emoji. It can be anything of your choice. No way. Okay, so I've just picked up the Shaman's Dream Oracle message. Let's reveal it. No way. No freaking way. Okay, so we're definitely supposed to pull from this deck first of all. Oh, I'm getting chills before I even do the big reveal. I've been looking for this card for probably 20 minutes. And if it's under here, maybe it's not. Okay, but let's see. Of course it is. So underneath the Shaman's Dream Oracle message, which the shamans are people that journey into other worlds, right? They're these roles and positions and archetypes, yet it's often within the inner realms and the more subtle realms that they journey into. So you could definitely be a shamanic force, a shamanic kind of archetype. You don't have to be, we don't have to put labels on it, but there could be lifetimes in which you've had these, you know, the return to the self being walked up. Reminds me of something that I was channeling at the beach the other day. I was just speaking light language and then I was singing. And what I was singing was like this essence of, I could see it as if I was walking these souls into this realm that we re-emerge back into. We go from this non-physical, celestial, infinite realm, and then we are compressed into this, you know, kind of finite form. We are compressed into the densest of planes. And that process of being birthed into the physical realm can become very traumatic because it's this separation. It is the child that's being cut from the umbilical cord or the womb, and they take their first breath. And so they're being separated from all it is that they've ever known up until that point. Yet there's also beauty within that illusionary separation, for the child is able to grow and develop as it moves through this physical realm. And it experiences itself as a wave within the ocean, this temporal wave and this temporal expression of source. How the universe desires to experience and express itself through your unique frequency. And there is so much beauty within that subjective lens. And within that subjective lens, it's completely in alignment with the objective. That's why you have Akashic, which is there is no wrong path. And so with the star card energy, it's the veil that's lifting. You are seeing beyond the simulation. You're seeing beyond the physical dimensional dimension. Okay, you're seeing beyond the densest layers. This is the card and this is the big reveal. So it feels like this is what your soul has been trying to reveal. And so many of us go through stages of anger. I was kind of watching a video the other day. And this, I remember seeing an old version of myself. I don't know if anyone else has felt this way, but I see it within so many beings where upon the first remembrance or that awakening process that occurs, it can be traumatic for the human when it lifts, okay, this human condition lifts in such an abrupt way. And there can be anger that we project outwardly towards the system, this grand, beautiful, intricate, complex system in which we've designed. Because it requires a lot of confrontation around how we have become our biggest block to experiencing this dimensional counterpart Earth, you know, where you're in this world, but you're experiencing an entire different layer of it. And we understand that suffering truly is a choice. And so there can be a lot of resentment that we harbor and project onto the external world or these larger institutions or systems. When in reality, if we zoom out enough, that storm becomes a speck in the grand scheme of things, and we can actually admire the entire design. And maybe that's Sagittarius kind of archetypal themes, which is actually Gemini's opposite, where Gemini, and that's Polaris energy, is able to go in, communicate with the system, but also maintains this higher perspective. It maintains this higher order while exchanging within this dimension. And so that level of lucidity becomes an ongoing state of awareness that we carry with us through many dimensional planes. And I'm just seeing it as, I was channeling this song, right, the other day, and I saw it as being walked into this entranceway where you ascend into a higher dimension, a higher dimensional level of this reality. Anyway, Eye of the Eagle is interesting. This is the beginning of this deck. So this is symbolic. Again, the Eye of the Eagle tells you to soar and see things from this objective standpoint. There may be pigeons arguing over crumbs. It actually talks about crows. And if you know anything about crows and eagles, if the crows attempt to target the eagle, what the eagle does is it soars to high altitudes. It doesn't fight with the crows. It doesn't, try to explain or even judge it. It just says, oh, okay. So thing is, if I operate within this bandwidth of frequency, like the crows naturally fall away because we're just not in resonance. So there could be something around ascending above, ascended frameworks of viewing this existence, of viewing your own potential within this world. And again, not everyone is going to see that with the North Node. You'll stop overthinking it, keep facing your true north. Embrace your weirdness. What is weird in etymology? It's one that knows how to control their fate or destiny because they're coherent inside of the construct. You're not for everyone. So there could be something that you need to hear there. Oh, there was something else that I was going to say. I don't know if I cycle back around to it. I guess it doesn't matter. In the end, it's like you're being walked into this layer of reality, this remembrance as you move through the system. And so there's no longer anger, but often admiration. There is no longer resentment, but instead there's awe. And it's just a beautiful illusion, isn't it? It really is. It really is. And that's what it comes back down to. So I'm actually going to pull one message from the Shaman's Dream Oracle. I guess you were supposed to see this. Again, you're breaking through the veil. It's like you've broken through certain dimensions or belief systems of yourself where you just can't see yourself, your own potential, this world the same way. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Okay. Whew. Okay. Now you're just showing off, okay? You're actually just showing off. You're gonna see why I'm so hyped for this message. Out of all the messages, we got a compass card. You have to watch that compass reading if you haven't. I'm going to link it down below, but listen to this. I'm going to just read it because, okay. So, this is an interesting thing. Right before this card, this is 36. The message before it is 35. 35 is lost compass. And it talks about getting back to integrity, finding the way home, and trusting your intuition. So I'm going to read both. Hold on. I've got low battery there. And then I'm going to read the Lost in Space. Lost compass is getting back to integrity, finding the way home, and trusting your intuition. When the lost compass appears, it's a sign that you need to find your way back home, back to your source and your center, relying on your intuition to arrive there. Be aware of the signs telling you to turn here or there because the outward indicators are not as reliable right now. Be careful not to believe all the advice that you're receiving and instead rely on your innate sense of direction and guidance and use your homing instincts to lead you true. The lost compass has come to show you that you need to find new counselors or that you're not getting the mentoring that you need for your success. Who is that person that you're looking up to as a model for what it means to be a man or a woman, and trash the idea. Tear up the picture that you carry in your mind because you're not meant to be the best copy of your dearest friend. Make this your mantra: love me or leave me. The lost compass is a blessing in disguise because you sometimes have to lose your bearings in order to find yourself afresh and discover a new course. True north never changes. So reset your way to your heart's compass and trust your deepest feelings even when others do not support them. Remember that you're not lost. You simply don't know where you're going right now. And that is an opportunity to find a new way or a new path. Then you have lost in space. So this is telling you what to do with this compass. Feeling lost, needing direction and focus, a 24-hour day. I invite you to practice, and actually Spirit and Polaris is inviting you to practice and all of us to practice within the next 24 hours. Be present in everything that you're doing. You know, meditation is not about reaching a place of complete stillness. Often it's learning to train our attention and keep training our attention to turn back inwards after every encounter, every interaction, during every task, being present within the human experience. Sometimes in life, we lose our way, perhaps falling prey to addictive behaviors, jealousy, comparison, resistance, or fear. This happens especially when we're up leveling and genuinely changing for the better. A part of us, hiding in the vast expansiveness of space, wants to sabotage our progress. In the transformation process, our inner world no longer feels safe or inhabitable as we find that our thoughts and beliefs have morphed beyond recognition. Who's observing the observer? And can you observe the observer behind that? And the observer behind that? Because we'll see and we'll find that there are many layers to the observer within this system until we reach that source. The one that we can't identify, the one that we can't put a name on, the one that we can't explain, the one that is observing the one observing it. Okay, so you may find yourself adrift in this way right now, unable to focus or determine the next step. You might be tired and simply need to regroup and rest. When you lack direction, the first thing to do is redirect your perspective of time. Like a newborn baby who needs swaddling to feel safe, you're invited to reduce your life's visioning to the next 24 hours. Anyone can handle living in 24-hour compartments, which allows everything to feel grounded and manageable. You get lost in space when you imagine being swallowed up in the giant vastness of the future, with its dark uncertainty, or reflect on how your past has held you captive in a hall of distorted, never ending mirrors, reminding you of your mistakes, flaws, failures, and losses. Take heart that in the simple 24-hour container immediately banishes those two awful eternities away. You will find your energy and focus restored as you recognize that you were never lost at all. Keep it simple because right now, conserve your energy and take care of you in basic fundamental ways, and the world will be right again. Even when the world is changing and shifting, there is this anchor within you that you can return to. Needing direction, and the compass is within. So it's almost like the fact that it's 36 and then 35, it's almost like you're being called to into this regression. It kind of reminds me of how the north and south nodes, right, these nodal aspects, which are preparing to actually shift right now, by the way, they're preparing to shift next month in July, are the only invisible access points that regress in the chart. And so it talks about this spherical motion that is time, where we are reorientating ourselves as we recalibrate. And I'm seeing a briefing take place for you. There is some type of, it's going to feel like a briefing, but I'm hearing, oh, you've arrived. And I don't know how to explain it. When it comes to the song that I channeled, right, it felt very ceremonial. And then I literally saw these souls enter into this room, and it was a, oh, I'm back. Oh, I've arrived. Oh, okay, yeah, I recognize this place. Even while the ego is panicking, because it doesn't have a point of reference for where you're going to be called to go or what you're going to be called to do. That's what this is. So allow that to reveal itself to you within stillness, because we'll notice that the seeker doesn't need to go out and search the seas for the answers. But as long as they keep their true north and their sense of direction, even if they don't know where that is, they keep following that Polaris. They surrender to that innate pull and they allow it to guide them through this existence. And that's what the North Node in Pisces is teaching us. It's all about that surrender. Then there is this inevitable expansion that happens. There's etheric expansion that happens, and that translates into your physical experience. The answer will come and find the seeker if the seeker is seated in stillness. So that's going to be it, my love. Thank you so much for, I guess, sailing these uncharted seas with me. This was such a beautiful read. I really, really love this for you. And, you know, I commend you on the work that you're doing. For those who are really, you know, integrating this and just being present, there could be a practice that you want to integrate. There could be tools. You might want to watch the quantum hack reading that I did the other day. And, you know, really be seated and practice that and observe that within yourself, because within those different dimensional layers or auric bubble fields, there is so much information and really a database of information that lies within those realms. And it often requires for us to just be seated and recognize that awareness becomes our torch to illuminate what has always been present, waiting to be remembered within us all along. So I'm going to love and leave you right there. If you're already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. What? I would love to have you around if you've journeyed through this message. Personal reading details are also down below. And also check out Unlisted if you're looking for some high quality AAE graded gemstones. You have 2 discount codes in the bottom of the description box. $1 of the proceeds are donated towards otter sanctuaries. Today I have rose quartz. This is sunstone, and that's rhodonite. So that's self-love and confidence stones. I really, really have been loving this blend at the moment. And yeah, if you made it to this point, make sure you comment down the star emoji. It can be the superstar. It can be like the little diamond stars. It can be the 1 star. What star are you? What would be symbolic for your own soul's expression, or how it is that you're feeling at this stage of your evolution? Let me know. Okay. Until next time, keep shining, keep being magical. Bye.
Clouds in the sky, don't care if I stay all day. Dreaming of time when you and I were there.